Hello and welcome to the ISE ETF and Index Outlook for March 12, 2012. This is Patrick Sresna. As always, we start off with a chart of the S&P 500 using that SPDR exchange traded fund symbol SPY. We were looking for a market pullback, and we're looking for it to go even as deep as the 132 level on the downside. And while we certainly did get a pullback as we anticipated, it certainly was not as deep or as long as we typically look for market corrections. At this juncture, the one thing we're watching is whether or not this market will double top up along these previous highs. And this is a very important moment that Monday and Tuesday will bring as we see the market rally up into this stage over the last few days. If we have any aggressive selling early this week, it could create a short-term top that could bring another wave of selling back down toward that 132 target. Now, while we certainly think that the market can remain bullish all the way until May, it doesn't mean that there won't be a short-term consolidation pattern within here that we'll see even a 5 to 7% market correction. And even though we already saw one pullback, we remain cautious that that there could still be one more push downwards in the upcoming week. Next year, I wanted to take a look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, which is symbol FUM. There are a number of ETF products that you can trade on this FUM index. Now, we were looking last week. I just wanted to again take a look at it this week. But we were looking particularly whether or not natural gas could flag and hold that 110, 111 area. And now you can see that some early selling had it test exactly into the 110 zone and reverse back up. And this is going to be a very interesting moment because if the natural gas index can break out on the upside, it would mean that we can make another go at testing the previous highs at 120, 123. But more importantly, it could actually result in a much more bullish breakout for the natural gas index. So it'll be very crucial because if we see any failure at this 115, 116, and then a drop all the way down to that 104, 106, that would certainly throw a bucket of cold water on any attempts to rally this. So let's see whether or not the bulls can follow through here. Next year, I want to also talk about the copper index because we talked again about it last week, whether it would double top, and just as we anticipated, that was a pretty good call, and copper had a very quick drop lower. Now, this is actually something that I felt was worth re-highlighting because if we have any failed rally attempts, if copper simply does not make a higher high than those double tops during this market bounce, it would indicate that copper is going to go through a sell cycle on the downside. This outlook is supported by the fact that the US dollar continues to strengthen, which is a natural correlation to a weakening copper price. So if again any failed rally attempts in copper here would give a lot of indications of bearishness. Finally, this week I wanted to go back to the ISE Global Wind Index, something we talked about several weeks ago, and the ETF product on that trades under the symbol FAN. And one of the things back then, a couple of weeks ago, we drew on this flagging formation, and we were looking to see whether or not the wind index could actually break to higher highs above this 96 to 97 zone. And as you can see now, that it certainly has failed to do so. And this really is quite a bearish development. As you can see, the selling has been quite intense, and it's certainly not out of question for an upcoming week for the wind index to do a solid retest of all the lows around the 86, 87 zone on the downside. The key thing here is that there is now a symmetrical measured move that can be identified, and if that 86, 87 support line does not hold, it would open the window for a move even as low as the 75 to 77 zone on the downside of the global wind index. And so we have a one bearish chart that is distinctly very weak, and we'll be watching whether or not this really kind of steamrolls into a much more aggressive round of selling. That was your ISE ETF and Index Outlook. Thank you for joining me.